Hello, it is week number 3 and I am back making my personal video. I'm making this one a little bit earlier. It's actually Thursday. I'll post this on Friday and it is an absolutely gorgeous day where I am today. I mean, I'm at home, but it's beautiful outside. My husband said it's the prettiest day of the year. So I hope that you enjoy your weekend. It's supposed to be a beautiful fall weekend and I don't really have any major plans, which like I told you last week, that's like my favorite kind of weekend. So let's look back on last week. Last week was week number 2. I have posted your grades for Hawk section 4.1, 4.2, and the introductory discussion board post. So those 3 grades are posted on Moodle. We've had a few people that have just taken a little bit longer to get going. So I have not posted the grades for anything beyond that. The labs are due, on Thursday, and so you'll have more grades coming next week. But I do have those on Moodle. So if you haven't checked your grade, check your grade. We still have some people that, again, are just taking a little bit longer to get moving. Anyway, last week you did the recipe lab, the grocery lab, and the Grandma Weighs What lab. And that was sort of a combination of 3 different things. But in the discussion board, which we are having some problems with the discussion board, people are waiting to do their work on the very last night. And that makes it really hard to post responses. We have discussed this at Richmond Community College. I mean, you have to have a deadline and people wait to the deadline. I would encourage you to do the discussion boards before Thursday night if at all possible. But again, that's just an ongoing problem, sort of the nature of the beast. But I love some of your discussion board posts on some very similar things. We have the holidays coming up, so people talked about cooking, larger quantities for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And what I found consistently is people have no problem doubling a recipe. That's easy. No problem tripling a recipe. But where you run into a snag is if you need to cut it into like a quarter size portion, or maybe you need to cut it into fifths. People really struggle with those decimal conversions, fractions, I should say fractions, those fractional conversions. The next one was the grocery store lab, and I said this in some of my responses, but I'm not like a bargain shopper in that I only go to one grocery store. To be perfectly honest, I live in Laurinburg and I only go to Food Line. I go to Walmart if I need other things on my list, but if I'm just grocery shopping, I just go to Food Line. And so, for example, I'm not going to bargain shop on Food Line versus Carly C's, or Food Line versus Walmart, or Food Line versus Harris Teeter if I go to Southern Pines. I'm going to buy it at Food Line, but I do price shop within that grocery store. So like, I think it was one of you mentioned onions and maybe cheese. And so, yes, I will look at the onion choices at Food Line and pick the best one. Some people, several of us, talked about how sometimes you get what you pay for. I think Mr. Don Smee said that first, but that is so true. And I responded, there are some things I never go cheap on. One is Q-tips. I am a faithful Q-tip user, as is my family. We go through a lot of Q-tips. Don't go cheap on Q-tips. Q-tips, okay, not toothpicks. Q-tips. Don't go cheap. And there's just some other things. I feel Windex is another one. Like, don't go cheap on Windex. I find that the real deal Windex cleans a window a lot better than the cheap stuff. So there are some times where you just have to pay for what you want. Diet Mountain Dew is a deal breaker for me. I do try to price shop Diet Mountain Dew. I drink a lot of it. My husband drinks it. I may have said this before, but that is something I really try to bargain shop for. And I will go to Walmart if I'm desperate for some Diet Mountain Dew, which I did yesterday because it was not on sale at Food Line. So I was like, I'm going to have to go to Walmart and get my Diet Mountain Dew. All right. I know you don't want to hear about all that. So let's move on to this week. This is week number 3. And this week we're going to go back and do some Hawks. I try to alternate Hawks, Lab. I mean, that doesn't work out perfectly. But some people really, really like Hawks. Some people hate it. Some people really like the labs. Some people hate them. So I try to alternate it so that you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. This week is mostly Hawks, 4.3 and 4.4, which is going to deal with percentages. This is a huge, huge topic for the rest of this semester. But I also snuck in there a little decimals lab about how to round a decimal properly, because if you put these percentages into Hawks and they asked you to round to the 10th, maybe they ask you to round to the 100th, maybe that is, say, round to the nearest 3 decimal places. If you do not round correctly, your answer will be marked wrong. So the first thing I want you to do is study up on how to round a decimal. I've got some videos on there. This is really basic math, so I did not make a personal video. I've linked you to some videos in the resources. But do a refresher on rounding decimals. Okay, we all need refreshers on things from time to time. Look at my videos, search out some other resources on the internet if you need them, and then complete the decimal lab first, because I know I've done this a long time. If you don't know how to round, you are going to struggle for the rest of the course, but particularly on 4.3 and 4.4. So do the decimals rounding lab first, then do 4.3 and 4.4. I do have my personal teaching videos for 4.3 and 4.4. This is where you're really starting to get into some more mathematical things with percentages. I think that's all I had for today. I hope you have a great week. Again, it is going to be beautiful fall weather. And I have set this class up to end on Thursday nights. And there are many reasons for that, but I'll tell you a real short reason. When I was in college, I went to Carolina, and Thursday night sort of marked off the weekend. I was involved in Campus Crusade. We had our Campus Crusade meetings on Thursday night. And kind of after that, you felt like you could take a breather and enjoy your weekend. And so I've always sort of had that mentality. For me, Friday is like end of the week. You know, I'm not going to do homework on a Friday. I'm just not. And so I like to end my stuff on Thursday night. And that's just sort of the way I do my life. I try to get everything heavy done by Thursday night. And then my weekend, you know, I try to enjoy. So I want you to be able to do the same. But some of you have jobs and children, and you have to do your things on the weekend. So Thursday night is sort of like, if you have to do it on the weekend, it's available. But if you don't, you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to really put your nose to the grind and get it done. So typically I do not grade on the weekends. I usually sit down on Sunday and kind of prep for the week as far as what am I doing, but I don't do a whole lot of like heavy grading. I won't be grading the labs this weekend. It'll be Monday before I get to grading those labs. That is going to take me a skinny minute because, as you know, that lab was pretty involved. So have a great week. Have a good weekend. And please, please, please send me a remind message if you need me. Sorry, I'm shaking everything. I love the fact that quite a few of you have reached out to me, but some of you needed me and you were in my remind message and you never contacted me. Okay, if you need me, send me a message. I'll do the best I can to help you at that moment. I will do the best I can to respond as soon as possible. If you need me, send me a message. Do not let it be 2 weeks and you haven't done anything and it was a simple question I could have answered for you in a 10-second text. Please send me a remind message if you need me. Have a good week.